Hi folks, thanks for stopping by. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about, you guessed it, the flat earth, and a clear contradiction. Now I've been looking over the flat earth videos that I've been making, and the one that strikes most directly at the issue of flatness is the height of the sun. And this video is built on the ideas from that one, which I recommend if you want to dig a little deeper. This video skips all the detail that that one has, and just jumps straight to the contradiction that can't be resolved. Now, every time I turn around, I see another flat earth video or a website with its own idea about how high the sun is. And, just the lack of agreement alone here, it's enough to make me suspicious. And it's easy to see why they're so interested in disputing 93 million miles as the distance. This 45-degree right triangle tells the story. On the equinox, when the sun's over the equator, it's seen at about 45 degrees elevation from Montreal, and that puts it 93 million miles from the equator, if the Earth was flat, so they're kind of obliged to dispute this. So they come up with their own numbers, like no one's going to check the implications, but we're going to do that today. And testing these claims is really quite easy, and it starts with a review of latitude. Now, latitude is the angle from the vertical to the sun taken at midday on the equinox when it's over the equator. And the latitudes of locations are used by cartographers to draw maps, and they're used by navigators to read the maps and find locations of things like cities and islands, and we're going to use it here. And there's not a lot of math involved, just one triangle. I'm just going to take their figure for what the height of the sun is and calculate a distance to the equator for a city. Now that's pretty much impossible to verify, but if you do it for two cities that are a known distance apart, well, confirmation's pretty easy. You just subtract the two distances and compare that to the actual distance, and you can make a finding. And you can say whether their height of the sun is true or false, or if it's even plausible. So I went ahead and did that for a bunch of sources, and let's take a look at the results here. For Winnipeg and Sioux City, I calculated the distance to the equator, and that's what I'm showing. And then the difference between those distances, and then a column showing the error for how far off they are from 512, and then the last column just shows it as a percentage. At the bottom left-hand corner, I'm showing what the latitude is for Winnipeg and Sioux City, so you can easily verify these things yourself. Now, they all did pretty bad, but Good Times for All is clearly ahead of the pack. He's off by 40 miles, but 260 miles closer than number 2, who is Eric Dubay. Now maybe these guys are going to do a little better with some cities further south, and one test alone is really not enough for me to go on. And I got to tell you, I don't have a lot of hope for Awake Souls here. He needs to get some no-dos or something. Where he came up with 10 miles to the sun, I don't know. That's a mystery. So I looked at a couple more cities here, Wichita and Austin, and I did everything the same way. Now, Wichita to Austin is also 512 miles, which is a little surprising, but hey, that's the way it is. Now, most of these guys did a little better this time, but some did worse, and none of them are even close. And here's the problem. The ideal sun height to get 512 miles for Winnipeg to Sioux City is 1,995 miles. But that gives just 378 miles for Wichita to Austin, and that's 134 miles short. The ideal height to get 512 miles for Wichita to Austin is 2,702 miles. But that gives 733 miles from Winnipeg to Sioux City, which is 221 miles too long. So you really can't have it right on one without having it being wrong on the other. Assuming that the Earth is flat. And that's the whole problem. It's not. It's not mathematically possible. And this is why it doesn't work using the height of the sun to find the distance to the equator. For example, every 10 degrees of latitude, the distances get progressively larger. And that doesn't happen the normal way using the Earth's circumference. There the distances all stay equal. And the flat Earth can't do it the same way without admitting that their model is just hopeless. So that's about all I got to say right now. But thanks for watching. It was kind of fun to make. And please check out my other flat Earth videos. They're kind of cool. And I'll see you next time.